It's Taylor Swift week here. If your daughter's not going, she's feeling pretty bad about it.
Oh.
You don't love her. You didn't get her tickets. You're a bad dad.
Awful. I know you used to blow off like editing the paper to go to the Eagles.
All right. It was Pink Floyd, actually.
No, it was the Eagles at Fenway, wasn't it?
No, take it easy.
No, it was Sting. It was the police. It was the police at Fenway.
That right there encapsulated Paul and Fred's relationship over the last 25 years.
It was the police.
Alex says a lot of times she leaves a concert and she's bummed that it's over. She wants more.
Well, she's hopped up on drugs.
That's true.
I don't do drugs.
Remember Anita Bryant? She was like the
vaguely.
the lady for Tropicana orange juice. Why
That's
would
just
you
for
care
old
about
people
that?
like you.
Okay.
Thanks for ruining our holiday.
I know.
Yeah.
Your special
Heaven.
occasion.
Oh,
not even your holiday.
like, believe me, yeah.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Fueled by Duncan.
All right. Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is
Swift Day.
Swift Day. I was coming up with something Taylor Thursday, but that'll work. It's Thursday here at Gillette Stadium, and Taylor Swift is taking over Gillette Stadium. 3 shows tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. They've got a merchandise truck here that, I mean, she's got more people here than some other sports teams get for a game. Won't say who.
Northeastern.
But so it's unbelievable. We're here to talk about Patriots, and we're going to talk about Patriots and maybe some other things. And after all, it is Thursday in the middle of May. Yeah. So, but it's Deuce, it's Paul, it's me, no Tamara. Alex is busy doing Taylor Swift things.
She sure is. She's going to get in trouble, I think. But yeah, Evan is covering the interviews, so we're going to hear from Josh Uche and Calvin Anderson today. So he'll be in a little bit later.
He'll be in a little later. Okay, good.
Ooch.
So what do we got? What do we got going?
Oh, football wise, not a whole heck of a lot. I was going to say Bradley cracked me up with the Christian Gonzalez tweet, which really highly performed. It was literally just Christian Gonzalez
I'm at a complete loss for where Andy had something about it. I just don't understand.
So no background.
And you had a funny little response to that too.
Social media posted about a 15-second. I mean, even that it was like 5-second clip of Christian Gonzalez at practice in shorts, just making some cuts, and it's outperforming our schedule release video. Which so I'm going to look at it glass half full. The interest in the team is still there.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Well, that's why I asked Neil, because I'm like, well, why would you get worked up about this when, I mean, you have a 7-minute video, which takes a lot more commitment, like a 5-second thing. Like, well, of course that's going to have,
right.
I mean, I know that this has gone above and than expectations.
It's more of a glance than
people are upset that it's getting
just jokingly.
That,
but somebody sits for a 6-minute schedule release film and then comes across it and there he is, and
that's a big difference. You just get that scrolling through. You didn't even stop on it.
All you had to do was glance at it, and that counts as a view.
Right. But he's so strikingly athletic. It just catches your
striking.
eye.
He's a D1 athlete. He should be.
Thank you, Fred.
I don't know. He moves different to me. He moves.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
different than what?
I don't know about that.
I think he's a special athlete. I do. I mean, even for an NFL player, I think he moves. Look, and this is just a guy running in shorts, but I think that's what you saw from him coming in.
Undrafted rookies playing cornerback and a first-round pick playing quarterback.
No, well, yes! I still think even for a first-round pick, I think he moves special for anybody. I mean, I don't know.
I was pretty excited about the idea of drafting him, which is why I picked it as my sort of dream scenario.
Yeah,
because I didn't think he'd be around at 14 and obviously eventually 17. But yeah, I was pretty. It's pretty understanding that he was pretty athletic.
Usually, we at least wait, for the bromance for when we get to actually see the OTA practices.
Well, leave Mike alone when
now we're developing crushes in 5-second videos. So that's a new high.
Hey, we'll take it, man. We need it. Like, let's go. Let's get some hype going for this kid. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see him out there next week. A week from today will be the first one. So we'll see.
It's going to be exciting to actually get to see it in live, and he's using this guy in this position, which means nothing, but it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, for a minute.
Yeah. for a minute.
Wow, your enthusiasm waned so quickly. What happened?
I would piggyback. Like, you get out there, you're like, all right, and then it's all right. They're stretching.
Well,
then it's like, okay, I can't wait to get to minicamp.
I know, That's what I meant. I wasn't, but
you're always
still,
looking ahead.
You know how it is.
That's to me. You
don't even have the initial.
Be in the moment.
In training camp, that's how I would feel. Like the OTAs are tough because those are all the same. With no pads, you don't really see anything. But training camp, when the pads come on, which is whatever day 3, 4, 5, whatever it is now. I always have that feeling like, now we'll get to see, watch the offensive and defensive line a little bit. We'll watch maybe a goal line drill.
And they might as well have shorts. And
then, like, the third day of that, you're like, okay.
Well, even nowadays.
When's the regular season start?
Yeah, but the thing is, nowadays, even though they have pads on, it's still, like, they're not really hitting.
Yeah.
No, you're right, Fred. There's been, even in the Belichick era, there's a lot less physicality, I think, now in camp.
I mean, did we ever really see the goal line? I felt like last year we kept waiting for goal line. Never happened. All summer last year.
I don't think they had any.
We kept, like, wondering.
They had some passing because there was a ton of.
Did they have it when they had the joint practice?
Mike, as you know, Mike, we usually start training camp with red zone. We do it.
Speaking of Belichick, he was at the Garden last night.
Saw him last night.
Brad Stevens
enjoying some za.
Yeah. So that wasn't good.
Well, not to
that
the
wasn't
crowd.
good.
I did see someone on Twitter, and I wish I could remember who it was. Just credit. Like, do you think that Bill just looks at that and says, I don't really coach basketball, but when the other team's on like a 40-0 run, do you think you might want to call a timeout at some point?
Yeah.
Do you think Bill just looked at Brad Stevens and said,
"What are we doing?
You let him do this?"
Listen, I feel for Joe Mozzarella, but
I've been in the middle of my sensitivity training. I'm not sure that's okay.
Okay, Joe Mazzuza.
Joe Azuzu.
But even if they win the championship, I think they need a better coach for these guys. I think that they're doing the players.
I couldn't agree more.
I think they're doing the players a disservice.
Yeah. And you know what I mean, we don't have to devolve into Celtics here, especially for Mike, who doesn't even understand basketball. But I think in addition to his tactical shortcomings, which I think are debatable, I mean, you could make an argument, especially in the analytics era, timeouts don't actually help, all that stuff. I'm not even talking about what he does X's and O's wise. I think he creates strife. Like artificial problems he creates with his adversarial relationship with the media, which half the time is his comments are meant to defend himself and poke fun at the media, but not even understanding that he's kind of throwing his players sometimes under the bus. And I think that there's a conflict there. Like last night, and just to let everybody know, anybody that doesn't maybe pay attention to the Celtics the way we do, they had a disastrous third quarter, and like a lot of the questions were about, were you prepared for that run? Did you make any adjustments? And Joe Mazzulla just kept saying over and over again, we were prepared. We were prepared. We prepared for this. We came out with the same intensity. We had a bad quarter, and we let go of the rope in the third quarter. And I think that in trying to defend himself, like, don't put this on me. We were ready for this. We knew what they were going to do, and we were ready for it. We were prepared. Don't blame the coach. He's basically blaming the players for saying they didn't do what I told them to do for all three quarters. They stopped doing it in the third quarter. And I think that creates the situations where you hear the players like Marcus Smart last week say, they've been killing Joe Mazzulla, and rightly so. He said that last week. Did you hear that comment?
I did.
He actually said that.
I heard that.
And I think there's this conflict between the players and the coach that's just not healthy.
No, he's very defensive, and rightfully so. No, but it's just not a good situation.
Yeah, I would agree with that too, Fred. Yeah. I understand why he's defensive.
Yeah.
Do you ever connect preparation though in any sport to end of game performance? Like, I don't really.
The fourth quarter was fine. The damage was done in the third quarter.
But by the end,
you equate preparation with situations. Here's a situation that we prepared for.
Right.
But when you have a 46-point quarter run,
you went into the locker room.
That's more than a situation.
Correct.
Right.
You went into the locker room. You came out. Should have been understanding that there's going to be something different than what happened earlier.
They're going to make,
and they were totally not ready for it.
Yeah. I'm all for okay, we were doing something right to end the half. Keep doing it until they show us that we can't anymore. But once they show that, okay, have a plan for expecting them to make adjustments so that you can. And he didn't do that. And they were on track. If they had done the same thing in every quarter, the Celtics would have given up 180 points. You can't have that.
And on top of all that, they didn't play great defense at all during the game because Miami can't score. Miami's typical playoff wins are like 102 to 96.
And
all of a sudden, they had 57 points at the half.
Yeah.
And I was like, all it's going to take is 5 good minutes of defense, and this game's going to be over.
Yeah.
And instead, it's what Fred said. They came out and looked like the early 80s Denver Nuggets going up and down the court, scoring 160 points. It was amazing, how easy it was for Miami to score in the third quarter.
Anyway.
And I was all ready, and I told Alex this, Fred, I was all ready to say, Marcus Smart, for one night, I got to say, I have nothing to complain about. The first half for Marcus Smart was as good as you could play as a point guard. He's making these passes. He's under control. He's not injecting himself into the offense. Then the third quarter comes around, and he decides, I got to get mine now. It's miss, turnover, miss free throw. Missed 3, and I think he made one shot in that run, but
I have to say, Paul,
he became Marcus Smart in the third quarter.
In my limited Celtics watching, because I flipped the game on for a little bit last night.
Did you really?
Honest
no, I really did.
God,
did you really
watch?
watch?
The first half, end of the first half, I watched probably a half hour or so. But
well, you probably saw that's the best the Celtics played.
Well, I thought it looked pretty good, and I was like, I'll go to bed. I assume it all went to plan. But everything you say, and just your whole point of view on Marcus Smart, it always seeps into my mind of and I know exactly what kind of player.
I have no complaints about him in the first half last night. I got to say that. I have to be upfront about that.
Yeah, but you're consistent. Really I know what you don't like about him, and it's
and you saw it in the 10-minute stretch of the third quarter.
If he was a do your job guy, don't try to do too much. He'd be amazing. When he tries to do too much, he tries to think he's the man. Then it becomes too much, and they lose.
It would be like if Matthew Slater decided that he was going to demand 50 catches a season.
Right.
That's what Marcus Smart tries to do every once in a while. Too often.
Know your role.
Yeah. All right, that's Celtics. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address. So I know Mac is going to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah, okay.
So he'll be going.
That's good.
How do we hear these things?
Oh, we find out.
You have some moles, huh,
We
Freddie?
find out.
Well, I would assume Sophie's a fan because she's an influencer type.
Yeah. I'm sure he's not the only Patriot that'll be at the concert.
No, or Patriot staff member. I think there's a lot of us.
Oh, my God. They had an employee sale months ago, and the whole building shut down when the tickets went on sale. Everyone's at their computer, banging away trying to get tickets. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, we'll be there. Unfortunately, it seems like the weather's gonna be a little rainy Saturday and Sunday. So we're supposed to go Saturday. So we'll see how that all comes together.
I'm so glad I'm not going.
I kind of right now. I'm
so glad I'm not even
somebody wants to call in and make me an offer on 2 tickets. I mean,
I don't even if Monday they said this was the most amazing concert I've ever seen, I'd be like, great, and I wouldn't be feeling bad at all.
I'd be happy about that because I got a lot of people tickets for it, and I'd be happy that they all enjoyed it.
Yeah, but I'm just no matter what happens, I'm okay with having not been there.
Yeah,
which,
I know, and that's what Lane looked at me last night and she was like, do you think we're going to stay for the whole thing? That's where we're going right now.
Alex was talking about, it's like a 4-hour set.
40
songs. 44 songs.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would. I mean, you know me. I'm not a big concert guy, but I don't know if I'd want to see Earth, Wind, and Fire for 44 songs.
Well, do they have 44 songs?
Of course they do.
Okay.
What if they just play September over and over again?
Yeah.
Listen. That's not my favorite song. That's not my
back in the day, if it was a band that I was really into, I'd appreciate the effort.
Yeah.
I
always.
So you do want to see that.
I want to see as much. As long as it's not like, here's my new album I'm working on, and it's
deep cuts that no one's interested in.
Right.
Play the hits.
If you play the hits, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think I look back, I'd my dream would be if you could go back in time to see Led Zeppelin at the height of their awesomeness in the mid '70s at Boston Garden or Madison Square Garden. If I could go back and see one concert, that would be what it is now. I would assume now this is what this generation is all going to. Oh, if we could have just gone back to see Taylor Swift on the Eras tour. I mean,
well, it's so sad though that it has to be so corporate.
What's the best?
So
is that the best concert you ever saw?
I never saw. I never saw Zeppelin.
No, he said if you could.
But
go
if I could go to one,
Yeah.
that would have been what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. But best concert I went to.
Best concert experience I ever had. It was in Florida at the Tangerine Bowl. I don't even know if it's there anymore.
That's I think it's the old Tampa
It was
Stadium.
the opening act was Van Halen.
Oh, who was they?
And they opened for the Rolling Stones.
Wow.
And it was the best concert.
What year was that around?
Oh, this was like 82.
Oh wow.
Maybe.
Start Me Up.
You're still
Start Me Up album.
You
That's
still
cool.
got Stones at
That's
the
a
height.
good. That's a good.
And
Van Halen,
they had this
right on
train that
come
Mick
up.
Jagger got on, and it brought him out over the stadium. And in between the bands, in between the acts, there was the biggest garbage war you've ever seen. Like the people in the stands throwing garbage at the people on the field and throwing it. It was like, something out of like a war movie. Oh, it was so fun. It was so fun.
And Van Halen, Rolling Stones, though. I mean, that's
David Lee
Yeah,
Roth.
and there was actually
right?
a band before Van Halen that I think was a good band, but I forget who they were. But it was, David Lee Roth. It was, yeah, it was great.
I mean, I haven't seen a ton of cool ones, but one that Lane always talks about, she saw Rage Against the Machine and Pearl Jam at like a small place before either one was big, and Rage Against the Machine threw like demo tapes out, and so she still has this like Rage
nice.
Against the Machine demo tape that I've talked to Hardy about it. He's a big
Like a cassette
music guy,
tape?
like a
Yeah.
cassette tape,
Yeah.
and they had gone through and taped a match to every, it's very them, but to see Pearl Jam too in a small
Sure.
place like that before it had even taken off for them, that was a cool one. But I saw a few concerts in LA. Like the Greek Theater's awesome. Like I just love the venue. You're outside. You're kind of up in the hills, and I saw White Stripes there. A couple bands that were cool spot.
I saw B-52s in a little club before they were big.
Rock
And that was
Lobster.
awesome. And I was sitting on the floor just in front of them, and this woman just literally sat on my head. She thought I was a chair.
I'm sorry,
After
what?
the concert? Or?
Yeah. She was so, I don't know what she was on, but she thought I was a chair. She thought I was a chair and sat on my head.
You do run into some of those crazy concert folk. I remember being at a show for Toad the Wet Sprocket at the House of Blues, and some like mega girl fan of Toad the Wet like ran up to me. He's like, "Can you believe we're here?" And I'm like, "I'm not that big of a fan. Like I'm just here." The crazy fans are always out there, so happy to be there, and I feel bad. Like I feel bad now. Even I'm sure there are people out there dying to go to this concert, and I'm like, We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
on
it's
Saturday.
the thought of just being with 70,000 people all mashed in and everything. It just doesn't appeal to me anymore.
I know, me neither.
It used to, but not anymore.
How about in the rain?
Yeah, even less.
How about like midnight?
Yeah. Now I'm dying.
Call in. Make me an offer. 2 tickets.
All right, 855-PATS-500's Ace Ticket Hotline. We got emails coming in. Anything else that we want to get to before we get to the listeners?
No, I think we're just kind of. I don't think there's really anything Patriotsy going on in the last couple days to bring up.
A lot of people were making fun of. Well, a lot of people. Paul's people were making fun of Riley Reef yesterday for, talking about
I heard that.
what keeps you going, and he said a ring, and then the follow-up, I think it was Mike Reese said.
No, Mike asked him what keeps him going, and then Phil Perry said, "Why come here?" Which I thought was way out of character for Phil.
Yeah, and so, he kind of hemmed and hawed after that. I felt bad for him, but I can understand, like, you still want to win a championship, okay? But you also have to be on a team to win a championship, and probably the Patriots offered him more than any other team.
And I do think that I did hear that. And they had fun with it. I don't think that they were necessarily killing him. And Mike Felger even said, you can sort of understand and be sympathetic because these guys come in and all they have in their head is Bill telling them don't say anything.
Right.
The rules.
The
rules.
And they're like, well, that's a good team. Oh, wait a minute. like you don't want to, like, Kendrick Bourne flat out said, they gave me more money than everybody else. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. Right.
Right? And Fred's probably right. That probably was the biggest reason, the biggest factor is
He probably didn't have a ton of
probably
offers.
didn't have a ton of options, and,
Yeah.
and he got a pretty
It
lucrative
wasn't
one.
like I was picking between Kansas City, the
Right,
Eagles,
right.
Buffalo, and the Patriots. Like
This is a Riley
Probably
Reef bidding war. I
2 or
doubt
3
it.
teams that were interested
But
in him.
Listen, I want a guy who wants to win a championship, and that's why he's going to keep playing, hopefully, until he.
But I think he got to the reason.
Yeah, I
on
know.
The follow-up.
I know.
which was
He just wants to keep playing.
Just want to keep playing.
just like he still
Yeah.
got the passion.
Yeah.
We'll
So
see if it lasts into August.
yeah, no, you can't win. You can't win.
No.
Yeah.
They'll get you. But yeah,
Poor
we'll see.
guy.
I'm curious to hear from Calvin Anderson today. Kind of an interesting story where he was here in 2019 and Played a couple years in Denver and now is back. So yeah.
Yeah. I'll give you a little little behind the scenes stuff. There's a guy named Andre Norman. Look him up. He's like a motivational speaker, spent time in jail, came out, and one of those guys who completely turned his life around. And, really, he's just this amazing, inspirational type of guy. And we sat him down with 5 players, individual, extended talks with him. And we're going to release those as 5 separate podcasts down the road. Just something to look forward to. In the meantime, if you want to look up who Andre Norman is, do that. But our players opened up with him like we've never heard before.
Like all personal stuff?
Real
like
personal stuff. Yeah, it's not football.
Yeah.
It's their life. So, something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of is it about kind of just getting your life on track?
Each player had a different kind of theme. It's what was important to him. So, Bentley was there talking about, growing up, not really having a home. Slater was there talking about his faith, but, really getting in depth about it. Mm-hmm. Devin McCourty was another guy. So we had 5 different players sit with him for 5 separate discussions. And I think it's going to be really worth a listen. You're going to hear from these guys like you've never heard from them before. Yeah.
As people.
As
kind of behind the scenes. And what they're really about.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
And we did drop the first part of the Scott Pioli.
Oh, yeah.
Pats from the Past.
Yeah, so
podcast.
No Socks and Paul sat down with Scott Pioli for how long?
It was long. It was like twice the size,
85 minutes.
Yeah. So like usually they're about 40, 45 minutes.
And it was in person. He was here.
Yeah. And he was good. I thought he had some interesting perspective. And it wasn't like normally when we talk to the guys, there's a lot of, we get into what they're doing and what they've been up to and some of their memories. And then we sort of talk about some of their favorite memories, their favorite team or their favorite teammates, and then, toughest guys to go against, those kinds of questions. But with Scott, it was a little different in that he sort of talked about the mentality that they had and just sort of how much pressure mounted with the winning. He actually said the 2007 season was not enjoyable in any way. And he said, and this was before the 1, joined the 18. It was just such a grind, the way he talked about it. Unbelievable reverence for the 03-04 combination. Was really talked a lot about just how good the players were and how he doesn't think even now other players get as much respect and due as they should have.
Those players don't get enough respect.
Yeah. And he talked a lot about, him and Bill and, this.
Don't give it away.
It's a great dynamic. No, I'm just giving you the bullet point. Fred, it's 90 minutes. I couldn't give it away if I wanted to.
Did he have any insight onto your baseball career? Or
we actually started with that.
Yeah, Paul gave up how many home runs to him? No, I'm only kidding.
Only one, not to him, but what with him in attendance.
Yeah.
One legendary home run that may still be going.
Pioli used to call Paul Long Ball Paul.
Correct, in front of the entire media.
I've told the story. Paul told me that when I first started working here, and then like 2 weeks later, Pioli's there and confirming the whole story. I'm not that I didn't believe Paul, but it's just funny. All of a sudden, there's Pioli being like, "Long Ball Paul, there he is."
Yeah. So that'll be good. That's part of the Pats from the Past podcast
I'm
series. That's what, number 42 or something like that we've done.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's an intriguing one for me. I'm excited to listen to it.
It's different. It's a little different. It is, like I said, it is long, so it probably want to do it in a couple of different sittings.
I mean, I felt like the 07 season was exhausting. It's obvious that he puts it into words like that, but it just, you could tell. I mean, by the time they got to the end, you could see it in early December. It was like things were just kind of
I don't want to talk about it.
It's a lot about and just if you're looking for a trip down memory lane from those teams, this isn't the podcast for you. This is more like sort of the relationships and the personalities involved in a lot of complicated stuff, because obviously the way he came here in the circumstances, and people know that Bill Parcells is his father-in-law, and how he ended up sort of reconciling that to join Bill Belichick. He talks a lot about both Bills. It's definitely worth a listen.
And he left after 08 or 07. I think he went to the Chiefs,
after
right?
08.
After
he
08,
went the same year that Castle went to Kansas City, right? That was 09.
Did he go with? He went to Kansas City too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he went to down south. Atlanta, right?
Atlanta.
Yeah. I'll never forget that when he got hired in Atlanta, they did a video. It was like he and Dimitrov in the car, and it's their first, encounter. So Dimitrov, I guess, I don't know, could have been staged, but Dimitrov picks him up at the airport. He gets in, they start talking. And the first thing Pioli says is, "We got a lot of work to do here." And I'm thinking to myself, Dimitrov's thinking, like, who are you telling me that we have a lot of work to do here, I just thought that was kind of weird. Yeah.
And then that was it. Now is he enjoying? Last question.
I think
is
he does.
Happy being the media?
No, I think he does enjoy his role. I think that he talks a little bit about that too, like how when NFL Network approached him to do some of this stuff, what his reactions were and things like that. So it covers obviously with that amount of time, it covers a lot, and that's why Matt Morrell did a great job of just sort of breaking it up a little bit, so you don't have to invest your whole. It's not like you have sensitivity training and you need to devote a whole month to watching the videos.
Not very sensitive.
Good job, Matt. All right, let's get to some of these phone calls at 855-PATS-500. Melvin's in Tennessee. What's up, Melvin?
Hey, bro, what's going on?
Hey.
Hey, Mel.
Hey, I don't have nothing football related today, but I got two questions. Number one, do you all feel like that Jaylen Brown could be more of a number 2 option, or do you feel like he should just stick at that role, kind of being the Robin, or do you see anything potential?
Well, I think he wants to be a number 1 option, right?
Yeah, I think he's going to leave but when he can.
If he doesn't get a better handle on the ball, though, it's going to limit his ability.
Yeah.
He just throws the ball or hits its knee, or he's just too loose with the ball. Ball.
Yeah, he is.
But I think he could be the number 1 on a good team. I don't think he could be the number 1 on a great team.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I like Jaylen Brown as a player.
Yeah, me too. I think he's a good player. He just, I don't know. I thought he can be kind of streaky at times.
Yep.
But I really like him as a player. They both can do that.
Yep.
But my second thing, more so, Fred, I'm interested in your answer. But when you go back and watch things like John Wick and Creed or stuff like that, do you have to rewatch all the previous ones? Because my brain's not that sharp. So every time I go back there,
I've never seen Creed. So, but with John Wick, I didn't have to. I just saw John Wick 4, by the way. I was literally the only person in the theater. I had the whole theater to myself. I've never had that experience. It was great.
You had what? You were like singular, like literally one person.
It was a 3:30 matinee.
Oh.
At the Alex Theater. No, I call it the Alex. It's a little movie theater in Sandwich, Mass. The only person in that show. I had the whole play. A little disappointed. I really liked the John Wick series, but this fourth one, I thought there wasn't a lot of thought put to it. I thought.
No, just a lot of explosions.
The action scenes were amazing, but there wasn't a lot of thought.
I haven't seen the most recent Creed. I saw the others, and I don't think that you necessarily need to watch them chronologically.
Usually,
I think you'd be fine.
The way the movie makers make it, they make it so that, like, if you haven't seen all of them, you're not going to be totally lost.
Right. It certainly helps to see them in order.
Yeah. But, I don't know. Why do you ask, Melvin?
I'm going to see John Wick 4 today, but I had to rewatch all the other ones, and I saw the recent Creed, and I have to rewatch everything just because I don't remember things that in detail, so I have to rewatch to be fresh on my brain. By the time I see it,
it's Apollo's son.
That's cool.
It's Apollo's son. He's trying to box.
All right, thanks, Melvin. Let's get to Shane in New Hampshire. What's up, Shane?
Hey, guys. First time, long time.
Thanks.
Just wanted to call and say, that I feel like I might be the only optimist fan here. I think with the additions on the defense, we're going to be able to switch to a 4-3, have those faster, speedier guys. Sorry, I was just climbing up a lot of stairs.
It's okay. Corporate ladder?
Yeah, spread the field, have a bunch of people out taking the ball off the guys. I think we're going to get a lot of more additions on offense just based off having B.O.B. I mean, how many times do you see Mac turn the wrong way in college his first year? Like, all those failings on the offense, I feel like were on the coaching. I think an upgraded coaching staff is going to help everyone tremendously. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks. Listen, a lot of people are
not interested in your response, Mike. You look like you were poised and ready.
A lot of people are very optimistic about that front seven. I'm not even mentioning Christian Gonzalez but if Barmore can live up to his potential, and this guy that they drafted this year, Keon White, you add those to the mix, they could have a really good front seven, and that might just keep them in games. Who knows? It might help against these mobile quarterbacks that have killed them in the past. Maybe it's the difference between winning and losing that Ravens game. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have to. I think that's the big part of it. I mean, I was, for some reason, just looking back at the Super Bowl, and it's, you need a team that can close the games out. I think, everybody's going to score these days. Like, I don't think that there's really, like, to expect, like, what we got from the early 2019 team where it's like they're only going to give up 14 points a game. Like, I just don't think that's realistic anymore. And it's, more about, can you just get that last stop, and do you have the pieces that can, right at the end of the game make those big plays? And I think that's what they were, missing a little bit last year. But I don't know. I'm curious about the McCourty of it all too, and just how does that absence play into, not just the deep ball and the threat of the big plays that I felt like he always kind of, but is everybody on the same page? Are they blowing coverages? Are guys just kind of freelancing and doing their own thing? That's a question for me without him on the back end.
Yeah, and I agree with Mike in the way he put it. Like, I look at Philadelphia last year, and I thought Philadelphia's team was really balanced. I thought they were very good on both sides of the ball, and I think their front seven on defense is outstanding. And I think during the balance of the season, they played at that level. They were outstanding. Again, when push comes to shove and you're in against those teams and you're playing Kansas City, you're going to be hard-pressed to keep them under 30.
Yeah.
And I just think that if you don't have an offense, now they had an offense that could keep up, and it was a really good Super Bowl that could have gone either way. What was the final, like 38-35, something like that?
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of game that you need to win against that caliber of opponent. They can hold plenty of teams to 14 points, the Patriots. I know they can. I've seen it the last several years. I've seen them, do it to Cleveland and teams like that, in the Jets in the past. Now, I think the Jets will be different now. And I agree with Mike. I think more often than not in those big games, you got to find a way to score. I do think the offense will be better, like Shane said, with Bill O'Brien, but we'll have to see how much better.
Yeah, not better enough to still feel like the defense needs to really, carry it. Not to say that he has to carry the team, but they gotta continue with the takeaways and those things that have really powered them, over the last few years.
Let's go to Chris with a TIAN in Boston. He heard us talking about movies, so he had a call, right?
Oh boy.
Well, of course, absolutely, right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I'm glad you went to see John Wick 4. I'm kind of debating on whether or not to see it in the theater, but from your view, it sounds like I guess I can wait.
Well, you could rent out a theater by yourself, like Fred did.
I think you can buy it on demand, or I don't know if yet, but it's going to be soon. If you don't want to go to the theater, I mean, I would go see it. If you've seen them all, you got to go see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I love them all. So.
Yeah.
Paul, did Pioli do the whole interview with his chest out?
Yeah, that was an Andyism, but yes. No, he seemed like he had a great time. He sent me a text this morning because he saw that we had dropped the first part of the podcast. So he seemed like he had a really good time, and I hopefully we can get him around in the future for something if we need him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm looking forward to hearing that. I had a question about Jalen Mills and what you guys' thoughts were about him playing safety. And Mike had just brought up the absence of McCourty. You think Mills will be able to fill that spot with a couple of years in the system now, or is it going to be somebody else?
I don't know.
I'll hang up and listen.
I think he will play safety.
I don't know about filling. I think they might try him there. I don't know. I don't know if I really have confidence in that whole situation. I don't. I like I've said, I think it's going to be not just Mills, but I think Jonathan Jones is going to be kind of part of that free safety mix, and I think Miles Bryant is probably, going to be part of it. But I don't know. I am having trouble seeing like, all right, and now Jalen Mills is just our free safety full time. Like, I don't know. It's just I have to see it out there. Like, all right, he seems like they're every down. He's getting guys lined up. He's back there making the calls and stuff. Like, I have to see it. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be handed to him for sure.
I think you're right. I think that. And I've talked about McCourty a lot over the years. I don't necessarily think his value is strictly as a player. I think he's a good free safety, but I think his value is that you very rarely see the Patriots completely out of position, and I think he's a big part of that.
Yeah. Willems and Phillum, what's up, William?
Oh, sorry. Oh, shoot.
Oh. Hello?
Hey, Fred, how you doing?
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did we interrupt something?
Okay. No, I had to, I was going to make sure I pressed the right button on your phone, that's all.
Okay.
Okay, how y'all doing, first of all?
We're doing good.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Okay. All right, I listened to y'all Tuesday, and I wish Evan was there, though, because I would get on him a little bit, but I'm going to let him be.
You can call back.
He'll be back.
Okay, so, I just want to talk just a little bit about the Malik Cunningham situation. Look, I'm not saying that he's Lamar Jackson, but you could see a little feature in him in terms of him being mobile and him escaping out the pocket and stuff. So, that's why I think that's what Patriots fans are a little bit hype about. That we ain't had nothing like that. Like a younger version of I don't want to say Cam Newton. I don't want to say that because he's undrafted. I don't want to go nowhere near that level. But I mean,
you said Lamar Jackson.
I can just see it a little bit though, and he can do things that Mac and Billy Zappi can't do. You know what I mean? So I understand why people
I agree with
a
that.
little bit hype about the guy. Though. You know what I mean? That's That's it. I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson. I would never even go this route. But certain things, his 2021 season, he had a little bit of glimpse of something. So I'm not going to pass him off. But we had J.P. Jackson undrafted. We had Jacoby Myers undrafted. I'm not saying that Malik Cunningham going to be something, but hey, man, Bill saw something in him. So
yeah. Listen, who knows? Who knows? Who am I to say? This person has no shot at doing it. I don't know.
Exactly.
Well, I don't think anybody says he has no shot of doing it.
But anything. I mean, 32 teams decided not to draft him.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't think anybody says he has no shot to do anything.
Well, I think some people are really pooh-poohing the whole.
He has an elite skill set. Yeah. He can run. Yeah. He can't pass.
To have something like that. Oh my God, that's just crazy though. But my last take, and I have one more take, and that's it. I am so worried about this schedule, and it's rough. I mean, Tucker and Mass talked about it, and what's his name, Greg Bernard and Phil Perry. I mean, it's brutal. I don't know.
When you're worried about your offense, every schedule's tough in the NFL. Back in 2014 or 2007, I don't know if this would be that tough a schedule, but now it is. The Patriots have no gimmies, no penciled-in wins anymore. Thanks, William.
Yeah, I find myself wondering that sometimes of, what if this was the 07 preseason? How would I look at this schedule? Just
right.
For a little thought game, It's definitely different. But I was just saying, Cunningham, I don't think I've been here for 4 quarterbacks before. And I'm curious how that gets divided up.
Paul and I have been here.
Does the fourth guy get reps? I don't know.
You're talking about in camp?
Yeah.
My guess is you won't have 4 in camp.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess. But we'll see.
That's all.
By the time training camp comes around, my guess is that Trace McSorley will be gone.
Brady was here for 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there have been times
before.
I'll give you some deep cuts.
Oh, here we go.
Like the Todd Mortensen era. They may have had times where they actually had 4 quarterbacks in uniform on the practice field, even in training camp. My guess is you won't see that now. Maybe because Cunningham's skill set is so different, they might work with the other 3. But I think if you have any designs to develop him, you need to let him get some reps.
I think they come up with a Marcus Jones, Malik Cunningham, Tyreek Thornton, and one other package.
Douglas.
It's a lot of speed,
right?
It's a lot of speed.
Douglas is supposed to be just like Marcus Jones.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Paul? And I'm not doing this to trigger
to troll
you,
me?
To trigger you. No, but I'm genuinely curious because a lot of people made a big deal out about how much money they gave Malik Cunningham, and I know that you're usually kind of on that, but do you put anything into that at all of that?
No.
It's just a number, or how did they end up there? Or,
no, I think
was there some kind of competition for him?
My guess is there was some competition for him.
Yeah.
That's
I heard he was the highest. The most sought-after undrafted person.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think that translates to anything afterward, and it's certainly not money that prohibits you from cutting him.
Right.
Let's say that
let's
say you bring him in and you're like, this kid can't succeed, and they'll cut him. And it's a couple $100,000. We're not talking about $4 million in guaranteed money.
Yeah,
I guess you got to think about that one.
I guess the disconnect is that a lot of fans look at it that when they give an undrafted guy a lot of money, they
think
really
that's
like
the
guy and they really wanted him badly, and they wanted, and so I mean maybe that's a little bit true, but I guess
undrafted free agents are, and it's funny. It's like Bill always says, every guy is different. There's always case by case, but I think sometimes we all, and I say we all, not fans, I say we in the media, the fans, everybody, sometimes we miss some of these details with undrafted free agents. They're in a pretty advantageous position sometimes because they can turn down teams. Like the Patriots, to me, were a good choice because it's kind of an unsettled quarterback situation.
Yeah.
So if I go there, I can win a roster spot. If I'm good enough, if I'm as good as I think I am, if I'm Malik Cunningham, the Patriots are a place I go. I don't want to go to a place necessarily like, maybe, who's the best, like maybe even Jacksonville or Cincinnati, because they have a young, established guy who's going to be the guy there for 10 years. You know what I mean? Even if it works for me there, I'm going to be blocked, and I'm going to have to go somewhere else to learn another system. I think Malik Cunningham can say, yeah, well, they want me, and they want me, and they want me. They want me, right? So that's going to up my price. And I think as a quarterback with that skill set, I'm not surprised to see that some teams want him. Now, he's small. He's like 5'11".
Yeah.
And to me, the thing that people are missing, like they both played at Louisville, Lamar Jackson and Malik. And I like Malik Cunningham, by the way. We talked about this a little bit on Tuesday. I can't wait for the preseason games. I'll be in my Bob's Discount Furniture Studios having a much better time talking about Malik Cunningham playing in the second half. No disrespect, I say it every time. Love you, mean it, Brian. Than watching Brian Hoyer play in the preseason games, right? But this is a guy who's going to go out there. It's going to be schoolyard. Sometimes he's going to run around, and we're going to see him learn. We're going to see how much he can soak in. But there's no comparison between the college career of Lamar Jackson at Louisville and Malik Cunningham at Louisville. Lamar Jackson was he won the Heisman Trophy and probably could have won another one, like as the best player in college football. First-round draft pick. Like, all the same questions about does he have to change positions that we're talking about Malik Cunningham, but he went in the first round. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's even really close in terms of skill set.
Juan from Monterrey, Mexico says, Fred, I completely disagree with your review of John Wick 4. It gives a good arc to John, but to each his own. Love the show. And Deuce, cash in on those Swift tickets. You'll be able to get a house in Fred's rich neighborhood.
Yeah, I think we're going to go, but I'll report back.
Think you're going to go?
No, we're going to go.
I think you're going to.
No, I'm in.
You have to go.
I'm more looking forward at
you're
this
committed.
point to my hanging out with my sister and brother-in-law who haven't, had a event, go out kind of thing with them for a while. So it'll be fun.
Okay. Ramon in Tampa. Guys, I went all 3 nights in Tampa to Taylor Swift, but I was truly amazed, especially not knowing much about her. Swiftie in progress now, but her performance is 3 hours and 15 minute-ish. It goes by quick and is really enjoyable. On to football. If you could choose one game from any sport, past or hypothetical future, to share that experience with a close loved one, which game would you like to be at? Like a game or like a particular game?
I mean, I guess I would have been cool to be at Super Bowl 36. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was these games we were at, or that we could be at. We could pick any game to go back to.
Yeah.
And then I was interested, like any sport.
Yeah. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I mean, you could go. There's a lot of ways you could go with that. You could do Mike's way, not to be confused with Jersey Michaels.
Oil. Red wine vinegar.
Do you go with the significant, the historical significance, like Super Bowl 36? That started it all. Like that's where the dynasty began, right?
Right.
So do you go with something like that? Do you go the Kansas City AFC Championship game in 18, Freddie, which was one of
cold.
Good, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. That's a good mark. Again, as you would say, like that to me was one of the best games I ever saw. Now I always say this: The 06 AFC Championship game in Indy when they pumped the flu into the Patriots locker room.
That's right.
Cheaters.
I know they lost, but that was one of the most amazing sporting events I've ever been at.
It was a great game. Yeah, I have to admit.
So there's a lot of different ways you can look at. Do you go historical significant? I mean, just for like the sheer game itself, like the Patriots comeback here in a regular season game against Denver.
What about
was
Borg
just
McEnroe?
Bonkers.
Yeah. What about Borg McEnroe?
Great.
Yeah.
Ali Frazier.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways you
USA
can
Russia.
Go. Oh, that's the best.
Now
Mike's
there you
got
go.
it. Mike did it.
Yeah,
classic.
yeah. That's one where your head explodes. Yeah.
I talked before about the San Diego game in 06, but the week before that
1980
one, which
Bean
was,
Pot?
I was actually there.
Yeah.
Who got the goal on that one?
Wayne Turner.
Thing is, Paul was there at that.
I wasn't. I wasn't there.
Oh no.
You were old enough to be there.
Yeah, I was 12. I could have been there.
Let's see. L from Wisconsin says Paul is absolutely right. Just want to say how right he is. There is no place in Boston sports for a coach that acts like he's never the problem, says the players didn't do things correctly, and actively creates tension
I know
and
where
strife
this
in
is
the
going.
locker room. Oh wait, you're talking about the Celtics? Never mind. Yeah,
I don't think Bill creates strife in the. Well, he kind of did last year. I saw where that was going right away. That was well done.
Yep. Let's see. Brian in Ireland writes in, hoping to meet you all in Frankfurt at the Colts game. I'm trying to book a hotel for the weekend, and I'm just curious, do you have any idea what part of the city you'll be staying or where the fan events will be? I'd love to meet y'all and buy you a beer or 5. I don't know that yet. So,
last time I went international.
but what you should do, anyone that wants information, you should go to patriots.com /Patriots Deutschland and sign up for the newsletter. And as we get information, you'll get information.
So what are we thinking? Are we thinking like maybe a PU show at the pub or?
Oh, there's no
something
doubt.
like that?
It's perfect because when it's noon here, it's 6 in the evening there. So we'll take over a pub and we'll do a series of shows at 6 p.m. just when the crowd's coming in, and it'll be here at the same time as it always is.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Logo bar.
Yeah.
Shovels in.
Get ready.
So we are. Are we all going? Or is that something that hasn't been determined yet?
It hasn't been determined, but that's my plan, is to do PUs over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, excited.
And the team will be there for the entire week?
No, I think they're not going to come until Thursday night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like a Super Bowl week or anything crazy.
No. Yeah, they're not going to come for the whole. I don't know anything yet. That's what I'm hearing is they'll just be there Thursday. You know, they'll travel on Thursday. They'll be there Friday, Saturday.
How was it just generally for you, Fred, when you went there just for travel, getting into the country, getting situated? Is it just kind of normal? Nothing.
It's not
crazy?
bad.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
I've never been out of the country, so I'm.
Just make sure you got your passport.
Overseas.
And
Not to get into overseas.
TSA is TSA. I mean, there's like things you can do now. Like I don't know if it's called World Pass or something like that.
Oh yeah.
The things that pop
Global
into your
entry.
head.
Global entry,
Yeah.
where you can skip the line or something like that.
Don't
But
bring
even
your
with
weed, Paul.
even without
Be a
that,
7A tip for the pregame show.
Yeah.
The things that pop into your head.
yeah, I didn't have that, and it wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible.
That's kind of fun though. I didn't even think of that. Breakfast with PU. I mean, what time? Oh, I guess there it's probably like an
No,
Yeah,
right?
it's for them. It would be
Yeah.
if we were actually in Germany doing it, it'd be fine. But
But for people here,
people that are listening, it's going to be a 7:00 start to the pregame show.
Yeah,
Well,
breakfast
7:15.
Breakfast with
Breakfast
the PU
at Wimbledon.
Crew. There you go.
right. That's okay. Let's see. Alan writes in, I grew up, he's in South Carolina, grew up loving live music and attending concerts, so I ended up making a career of it as a systems engineer, designing and deploying audio systems for live events. I work over 100 concerts per year, and admittedly, it desensitizes you. Last year, I worked on Motley Crue and Def Leppard Stadium tour.
Oh, there you go.
This is for the geriatric crowd. And I never watched an entire...
Motley Crue. Tell you, there's a lot of stuff that he violates. A lot of the.
And I never
things I'm
watched an
learning about.
entire show start to finish. At a certain point, you get more concerned about finding a place to hang your hammock and get some rest before tearing it down. However, the best show I ever saw that actually drew me out from my hiding spot was B-52's opening for Boy George and Culture Club.
Wow.
Going in with zero expectation, I was absolutely blown away and definitely recommend seeing Boy George if you get the chance. Okay.
Boy George is going to be at Great Woods, I think, this summer.
Really?
Yeah, there's actually a pretty good little schedule. I mean, Janet Jackson, I think, is there this weekend, but they're like $25 for like a lawn seat. Dave Matthews, if you're into that kind of thing, Paul, I know you went to one and you went to one of those concerts.
Don't do that. Don't do that. One of the longest nights of my life, Dave.
Let's go back to the Ace Ticket Hotline, 855-PATS-500. Travis is in California. Hey, Travis.
That was a good deep pull right there by Mike.
Travis.
Good job, Hardy.
Oh, there he is. Hey,
Travis,
what's up?
Travis Bickle.
The California threw me off.
Where are you from?
Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
I don't know how you got California.
Says California on the
All right, anyway.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is year 4 of the Pats without Brady, correct? We're going into year 4?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I've always been to keep Brady, ride him out until he retires. But looking at over the past few years, I don't see what the plan was without Brady. If Belichick did not want Brady, I didn't see his plan. I don't think we're any closer to a championship. I think we're more closer to the number 1 pick. I would think, like, if we got rid of Brady, we would look like the Eagles. We would add all this talent, but it seems like we're adding the same players we did when we had Brady. So I just didn't understand what the plan was.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, in a lot of ways, I think that's a fair criticism. I do think there wasn't necessarily something in place. I think we all would agree that the plan, capital T, capital P, was probably Garoppolo. But Brady outlived the plan.
Yeah.
So you had to go to plan B, and I don't really think there was an adequate one put in place by Belichick and the organization at the time. I think that what the part of the problem, and you might disagree with this, Fred, is I really don't think Bill looks at the quarterback as being that essential piece that I think most other people do.
Wow. Maybe 40 years ago, you know.
No, I know how we all feel about it, but I still think Bill thinks, yeah, Mac Jones, that's fine. Yeah, he's average. He's good enough. I can, and I don't think that the specific Jimmys and Joes matter to him.
Well, I think, like, to me, I think the defense is kind of maintained. I mean, they've been up and down a little bit, but for the most part, I think you've gotten consistency. And I mean, I think to your point, Paul, all they really wanted is, can we just get a quarterback who's going to not make the boneheaded decisions, do what we tell him, make the right reads, get the ball out. We don't need him to be Patrick Mahomes. And we can just continue on that way. And I think that, to me, is what seems like the philosophy.
That's the plan, and that's what I'm saying.
Travis.
I don't think that they had necessarily a guy in mind. That's why I say I don't think they had a specific plan.
Well, see, that's
but I think because I think he doesn't think he needed one.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. The year before they drafted Garoppolo, they probably didn't have a plan. But then when Garoppolo was there and they saw the tape on him his last year, he became the plan. But it's not easy to have a plan to succeed.
Totally,
the best player
totally
ever.
Agree.
Oh yeah, and we'll just get a guy.
They didn't have a plan. Once Garoppolo thing blew up, no, they didn't have a plan. But it's hard to have.
But I think
one.
critics would then say, then ride out Brady.
Well, okay,
they didn't have a plan, and they chose to pull the plug before they needed to.
Yeah, I think that became an untenable situation, and we can get into all that. But you're right, Paul. I mean, that would have been the answer. But even then, okay, at some point, Brady's going to be done.
But it could have bought you some time.
It could have bought you some time. You're right. All right, we're going to take a break. Paul's Food's here. We'll be right back.
So disrespectful. Didn't think we'd get that good of a reaction on the Dave Matthews.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Bass Pro Shops, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Six String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar. Watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G Ultra Wideband. Then, we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G Ultra Wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
There's no season better than football season, and there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week, so head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible!
No way! As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots.
Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Bass Pro Shops, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including Sixth String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar. Watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G Ultra Wideband. Then, we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G ultra-wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
And now, great moments in history.
By the way, you got to bring your car in
Now.
to get the tires put on, but you can buy them online.
Speaking of
You got to
cars,
get some of those.
I have Firestones. I thought those were supposed to be good.
Nope.
Well, Bridgestone.
I guess
Bridgestone.
so.
Wrong stone.
Upgrade.
Bridge. Fire. No.
So I got my inspection yesterday.
You got through?
Wait, how late were you?
It's like
That's
2 months.
what Paul
That's not
calls
even
his,
bad.
his annual physical.
the shady gas station where
Oh,
they're like
took care of me.
Yeah, come on in.
Took care of me. Guy even offered me a slice of pizza. I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, oil all over it.
No,
Was
I
the
just
check
because
engine
I
light
got
on
out
or
of
off?
Felger and Maz yesterday, and
Yeah.
my engine light was off. Probably the first
Good time to strike.
First time in at least 3 weeks. So I said to myself,
Paul treats his car like his body.
I'm trying. No, 'cause I know what the light's on for.
That's another great moment from
All right. Back here in Patriots Unfiltered. Speaking of car, mine's been in the shop all week.
I'm having problems. What's going on?
I was going with a one-way street near my house, thank God, and I'm taking a right turn onto another one-way street, and it's very narrow. And there was a car parked across, so you can't really take a wide turn. And I hit a curb that was hidden in weeds, and blew out my tire, dented my door. The trim comes off. Thank God I had the Bridgestone run flat tires, so I could get to Sullivan Tire and.
In a full circle here on this Thursday show.
Yeah, so I don't know if Matt was reading my mind, but anyway, just got a call from them during the break that the car's ready. But it's been in the shop all week.
What is that that's a hefty one.
Well, I was gonna just if it was $500, I was gonna do, but it was thousands, so I had to go through insurance.
Oh God.
Yeah,
it's the worst. There's nothing worse in life. I was explaining to my son of just when something that one day. Today's the day your battery's going to break. Or, today's the day that you're going to randomly hit a curb and have to spend the whole day sitting there, and then they're going to come out and be like, yeah, the connector gazoint's broken. It's going to be $4,000. I don't even know what that is, but here's my $4,000 because what else are you going to do? There's nothing worse in life than car problems. I hate
car
it so
problems.
Much.
Yeah.
So much. And it's just those random days. What is it? Maybe 8 days throughout the course of your life that you're randomly
It's back in the day, your horse gets sick, you shoot it and get another horse.
Just like that. You don't have to get the trim repaired. Yeah. You just get a new horse.
Yeah. But yeah, so that sucked.
Hey.
Yeah. The animal rights people will be all over us. So, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Speaking of animal rights, Peter writes in, I had to write in with my take on Eric. I started listening to the podcast when Eric was away in Africa. While he was gone, Andy was always saying that he hoped Eric would get eaten by a lion. I couldn't believe how mean that was. But then Eric came back, and I understood right away why Andy wanted him dead. I do have to say I miss Eric a tiny bit. He made me laugh when he would add "good for him" when Fred would read an email from people from certain cities. Like, this is an email from Bob in Charlotte. Eric would follow up, good for him. It's actually not his joke.
No.
But
I do miss Eric a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially in these shows where there's not a lot of football to talk about. We could get some impressions going.
Yeah.
We get him going on his Welker or his Gronk to the best of my abilities.
Right. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. Nate's in northeastern Pennsylvania. What's up, Nate?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, Nate.
I got to thank you first by letting you know that I got my Patriots Unfiltered tee in the mail.
Nice.
Really appreciate that.
So you're the one.
I found myself sounding like the dad from Christmas Story with the leg lamp, major award. I turned to my wife and I'm like, honey, they don't just give these out to just anybody.
And she's like, you're going to wear that?
No, it's nice. It's really nice.
Good.
But I got a football question and a off-season question specifically for Fred. The football question is related to James Robinson. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you guys mentioned that his contract, his deal is kind of just a prove-it deal. and nothing's really guaranteed. In fact, his roster spot's not guaranteed. And I'm just curious, with the training camp coming up, running backs in general, maybe not just James Robinson specifically, but running backs in general, how hard is it for them to prove it in training camp, being that it's so much less contact and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's really knowing your assignment. They can prove themselves catching the ball, running good routes, that type of thing.
It's a good question.
Yeah, and then in preseason, obviously, you can do some things. But I think he's got a 1-year deal, Robinson.
Right.
So,
to me, that will come down to Kevin Harris. Like, if Kevin Harris shows that he's made a jump, and Fred's right, it's mentally.
Yep.
Like, he seems to be a little bit more comfortable. And then you get into training camp in the preseason games. Kevin Harris had some problems holding on to the ball last year. So does he get rid of those issues? And that might allow you to say, well, this kid's ready for this role. And maybe we don't have to keep the veteran in James Robinson. So I think those are the sort of the roster battles that Belichick deals with. I also thought it was really interesting. I don't know if you guys saw any of this, but we get a lot of emails, Mike, I'm sure you do too, from like Vegas odds on different things. Did you see the thing that came today? Evidently, Dalvin Cook is a good candidate for a purge in Minnesota. They're tight against the cap. The Patriots have like the second best odds to land Dalvin Cook, and that to me makes no sense. Like, I love Dalvin Cook as a player.
Yeah,
but the Patriots out of everybody in the league, like,
why would they want
behind
that?
No, it's just I just think it's one of those things that the Patriots are always up there because the Patriots fans bet on a lot of this
right
stuff. Like, I really do.
We'll take their money. They're suckers. Yeah.
I almost would say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Nate.
Quick off-season question for you. I'll let you guys go. I'm an avid fisherman, and I'm always up for a good fishing story. I follow you on the Twitter machine and saw your Twitter picture.
Yep.
Is with a pretty nice smallmouth bass. I need to hear the story.
Oh, no, just a friend took me out on his boat, and we actually had a good day. I think between the two of us, we caught over 40 large and smallmouth bass.
When was this?
Whereabouts?
This is like
that picture's it's a good-looking one.
Yeah, this was probably like 6 years ago. It was before COVID. I know that. Everything's before or after COVID, But no, this guy was like, he had like a tricked out bass boat, and he would compete in tournaments and win some, and
it's cheating.
Yeah, so for a couple of years he took me out. It's hard now. He's up in New Hampshire, so we were out in one of the lakes. It wasn't Winnipesaukee. It was another lake. And we had a good day. Yeah, it's fun.
Awesome.
I love fishing.
If you ever find yourself down in Pennsylvania, I'd be happy to take you out.
Well, I did fish in Pennsylvania. I used to do a lot of fly fishing, and a friend of guy here, we went down, and they have these like limestone creeks in Pennsylvania, and we fished out of those.
Wow.
So that was fun.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool. All right, thanks, guys.
I didn't know you were such a fisherman.
I used to be.
No, Freddie,
I didn't know.
big into that.
I used to every year go to like either Idaho or Colorado. Awesome.
How did you get into fly fishing? I mean, I've talked to my grandfather fly fish with Ted Williams. Loved fly fishing. It was like his passion. But I was curious to try it. Like, how did you get into it?
I don't know.
Is it more fun? Like,
it's more of a challenge. It definitely.
You got to like make it dance, right? Like,
well, no, you have to do it so the fly hits the without a lot of commotion, like it would if it was just flying and landed.
Yeah.
You can't be like making waves, and there's a misconception about fly fishing. They think it's all on top of the water, like floating flies. Most in fly fishing the fish are caught under the water. So you wait it a little bit, you look for where the current seams are, and you try to mimic the feeding pattern. So where the current is going is where the bugs are going, and that's where the fish hang out to eat. So that's where you look for. You look for like behind rocks or little pools where the current is taking all the food, and that's where you fish it. So you really have to kind of try to mimic nature. You unbarb your hook, so you do as least amount of damage to the fish as possible. So that means when you hook it, you have to really keep it taut, or else the fish is going to get away easier. It's much more of a sport.
You get bigger fish with that style too?
Not necessarily.
No. That's why, for some reason, I always thought that.
No.
Interesting.
No, it's just, but the rods are more sensitive, so it's like a 10 10-inch or a 12-inch trout is a fight.
Yeah.
That's a fight.
So it's more fun.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, it just seems more like, what'd you just say? More of a sport kind of like.
Yeah, it is. It's more technical. When people really get into it, they tie their own flies. I can't do that. I'm like my fingers. I get glue all over my fingers. Yeah, I'm not good at that. But you don't need to do that. But like the real hardcore that will tie their own fly.
It was Ted Williams. That was that book I read. He was all
and I'm
about
sure
that,
he did it perfectly because everything he did was perfect.
Oh yeah. Just to go back real quick to the running back question, I thought that was a really good question. Just because I always feel like when we get to camp, you're like, you don't get any of what Ramondre Stevenson is in training camp, like because he's a lot about after contact, and the guys are just going off of him. But I almost feel like hearing you guys talk about it, it's almost easier to lose a job as a running back in camp than to win the job. I feel like you in camp just earn the opportunity, but if you're blowing assignments in pass protection, you're putting the ball on the ground, like those are the things that are just not going to happen. But there's not really like, he broke a huge run in training camp, he just secured a job. Like, no way, nobody's tackling.
No. And it's kind of like what Fred said, though, with the growing trend of less and less contact in training camp. I think pretty much all positions are now, it's more mental.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it hard for us, is because you don't get to see if, like when we go out there, we judge it off of what we're seeing in terms of personnel, right? So you might watch and see last year, very obvious one was Brendan Schooler and DeMarcus Mitchell working, so exclusively with Matthew Slater, right? So you said these two guys are probably going to stick around. They have special teams role, but you don't know why behind the scenes those guys are getting those opportunities, and some other, defensive backs that are in camp are not getting those opportunities.
And pay attention to preseason because, the score doesn't matter, and you'll see like a series of downs where a running back will get every play. He'll run a couple, then they'll throw a couple to him, and if he gets a first down, he'll get even more. They'll set up those scenarios to showcase a guy within a preseason game to see how he does.
But I agree with you, Mike. I think it is a tough – it's a good question because it's a tough thing to identify.
Yeah.
Like you see guys, especially like running backs, how many times we watch a training camp over the course of a week and it's like, who got the first carry of that set? Oh, it was Damian Harris today. Oh, no, it was Ramondre today. No, it was Ty Montgomery today.
Yeah.
They can change all the time. And Fred's right. They did that last year in the preseason games where they gave series to one guy because I think that was something – they really wanted to do going into the season, is to be less predictable based on personnel on the field.
As you can see, Evan has joined us. Hello, Evan. Got to get his mic on.
There's Matt. Matt's running. Matt's doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like when Matt's running around. I feel
it makes you nervous.
It just I feel bad
because he could kill you.
Me too.
Yeah.
That's why it makes me nervous. I don't want to upset him.
So Evan, what's up?
It just came from Calvin Anderson and Josh Uche's media availability, and Calvin Anderson dropped a little bit of a bomb on the media on his way off the podium that he is a Rubik's Cube wizard and can solve a Rubik's Cube in 13 seconds, he said. And he also said that he has a method of solving it behind his back, so blindfolded or behind his back, that is... he's credited with the method as he invented it.
Really?
This method to solve this Rubik's Cube. So
should we look that up on Wikipedia or something?
Yeah.
It's like Rocky training in the meat room. I sort of invented that.
So, yeah, my immediate thought was, well, this is a great piece of content for us, for our social team to put this.
Cole Strange can do it too.
Oh, so maybe we can have a little bit of a cube off. But it sounds like Calvin Anderson's like a professional when it comes to this.
I was going to say, though, because like my son who is now in 8th grade, he can solve. I mean, once there's the order.
There's a way to do it.
Just do it. Like it's not like he can see what it is and get like you just start doing the formula.
It's like the
algorithm.
80s video games. There's cheat codes.
Yeah, exactly.
Up, down,
Yeah.
left, right.
Yeah.
Start.
But he does it behind his back. Huh?
Yeah, behind his back, and he said that he can solve it regularly, not behind his back, in 13 seconds. He can solve it behind his back in around 20 to 25 seconds. He said, and it was interesting.
How does he know when it's done, though?
I don't know.
He's like,
yeah.
nope.
I don't know.
Parent just knows.
But he's got some personality. Like, I'll give him that. Like, we'll see what it's like out on the field. But he's got some personality, and came up big smile. He's wearing a retro Patriots starter jacket that he said that his agency sent him when he signed with the Patriots in March.
That's
so
nice.
he's got some swag.
Did he talk at all about his initial stint here in 19?
Oh yeah, that was like the majority of the questions was about what did you learn back then, how did it help you, how it's like to be back now, and he just mentioned that it actually hardened him a little bit to the business of the NFL, and he said that once he got cut by the Patriots, he got real serious about football and recognized that if I'm going to make a career out of this, it's not college. Like, I'm not just going to show up to practice 5 days a week and go through the motions, that I'm going to have to really go all in on this. So he gave a lot of credit to the Patriots for instilling that in him, almost giving him that chip on the shoulder by accident, kind of, you know.
Thank you for cutting me.
Yeah, right. And then he went to Denver, talked a lot about Mike Munchak, the legendary offensive line coach, and his impact on him, and going up against Von Miller in practice in Denver, he said was his welcome to the NFL rookie type of moment as a rookie back in 19. So
a lot of media in attendance.
A decent amount. I mean, these types of off season. This is like the real OGs,
sure.
you know, like this is
the Friday group.
This is the diehards that come in for these little one-offs, and so it's
don't forget the other guys have to be at like Celtics
availability. Right. Oh yeah, I didn't mean to throw anybody under the bus, but it just this is the core group of guys that are really just covering the Patriots are the guys that come to these
losers. Anyway. How many of the people in attendance are going to Taylor Swift tonight?
Oh, well, talk about Swiftie.
Not a lot of talk about Swift amongst them. No grousing about Taylor Swift.
Well, I don't know grousing, but what about excitement?
What's the move?
No, there wasn't any of that actually. I didn't. A lot of Celtics talk, of course, and a lot of back and forth about that, but not too much about Taylor Swift. No.
Okay.
How's Ooch?
Ooch is good. Yeah, he was mentioned a couple of things about. He didn't mention, but was asked about his contract and being in a contract year, and then also asked about last year and building off of last year. And even if he took some time to appreciate that he had a breakout season, and he said no, that really no resting on his laurels. And I think that he's in the right mindset in terms of the contract to just take care of what I can take care of, and if I play well, then the money and all that stuff will come. So it'd be interesting to see. I asked him about playing a little bit more of a 3-down role moving forward and not just being a 40% snap guy, and how important that was to him. And he said, everybody's got a role on the team, so I think he kind of recognizes that his role on this team is to rush the passer, and they're going to have other guys in there that are going to be on 1st and 10 stopping the run. So
okay. Willem and Phillum called earlier, Evan. He was, wishing that you were on the show at the time because
call back in.
Malik Cunningham. Your attitude on Malik Cunningham really, it's not sitting well with him.
Grinding his gears.
Okay, so I wrote about the UDFAs this week, so that's my full thoughts on Malik Cunningham, who I do think is a quarterback. My biggest thing with Malik Cunningham, with Patriots fans, is that the only way I can phrase this is that good teams don't hope that guys like Malik Cunningham turn into superstar players, because they have real receivers that catch the football and make Pro Bowls and all-pro teams for a living. So we always get our sights set on these UDFAs like Malik Cunningham, like this is the next breakout guy, right? This is the next star of the Patriots because he's athletic and can run with the football. And my whole thing is like, why don't we root for Tyquan Thornton becoming that guy, or Demario Douglas becoming that guy, and not have to bank on a UDFA that's a quarterback switching positions to receiver and then blossoming into some great football player.
Was Kurt Warner the only undrafted quarterback that really became great?
Tony Romo.
Oh, he was undrafted? Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Well,
there's a couple.
It happens. But do you think, even to your point, was anybody excited about Julian Edelman as a receiver when he came here in 2009?
Right.
No, but Belichick didn't know he was going to be the receiver.
No, I know. That's what I mean. The situation was reversed and you drafted him now, people might be a little bit more.
But I think that encapsulates what I think Evan's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it happened once, so it will happen again. And I know you don't like it when I play the hits, and I read all the names of the guys that every one of these people told me was going to be the next Julian Edelman.
Jeremy Gowan,
Jeremy Ebert,
Riley,
T.J. Moe,
Riley McCarron,
Jeff Thomas,
Braxton Berrios.
Right?
Oh, yes.
Like
Gunnar Olszewski.
We've had so many of those guys, and almost
Bam
all
Childress.
of them never even stuck around, let alone turned into Julian Edelman. Yeah. So
yeah,
odds are this guy won't do that either. But that's okay. Like I think if Evan's right and they make him and they keep him at quarterback, that's what you think that is.
Yeah,
I'm excited about that. We talked about this before you got here.
Yeah.
Just different skill set. Let him develop. He's got time. There's two guys in front of him. Let's see if there's anything there.
Yeah, I actually have some excitement about him as a quarterback. My whole gripe is with people that are trying to make him into a receiver and then thinking that that's going to turn him into some perennial all-pro player just because he's got some athleticism and has a good skill set with the ball in his hands. But as a quarterback, he's different. He's not Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes where he's going to roll out and flick the ball 60 yards down the field. He doesn't have an arm cannon, but he throws with good touch to the first and second level, I thought, and he adds that running quarterback element. He certainly does. So there's more to be optimistic about there, but keeping him at quarterback.
But he's small. He's small.
He is small. He's 5'11", 192 pounds. So he's Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completing each other's sentences, right?
Let's go.
Throwing ability.
Let's go to Todd.
Did we just become best friends?
Todd in North Carolina. Hey, Todd.
Well, I've heard a lot of people calling in worried about, well, they're going to have this record, it's going to be a big losing record, or, they're going to have this kind. I'm optimistic they're going to have this kind of record. And I'm thinking this is not a year for looking at that. The schedule's tough. Things are changing. For me, for it to be a good year, I want to see improvement from our rookies, and I just want to see an offense. If you can show me an offense that starts out might a little bit slow, but at the end of the year is actually competent. I'm not saying we need Brady style offense, but just has progressed, and the young guy's gone. That's going to be enough for this year. I don't think, I think trying to pick wins and losses and stuff like that with this schedule and with the way the team is, I don't think it's the right way to go. I want your thoughts on that. Thanks, guys.
Okay. I know. I hear what you're saying. I'm going into the season with hope, not necessarily expectations, but it is about winning, right? We're playing a game, so yeah.
And like the previous caller said, like you're 4 years in now.
Yeah.
And we're not supposed to be concerned about competing for like a playoff spot and winning 10, 12 games.
Yeah.
I just think that's what the debate is, and it's such a weird place to be, but we all know what's happened over 20 years and what Bill Belichick has done for this organization. But, at what point does it become, all right, what have you done for us lately? And, 4 seasons, 5 seasons, it's just, and I don't want to get into I think they need to fire him right now. Like, I just think it's an interesting conversation to have about what, everyone knows that he's earned a lot of trust and goodwill from the teams that he helped put together and put on the field and bring to Super Bowl titles. But, just what's reasonable? What's reasonable expectation? Like, what would Bill Belichick say to that? How long do you have? 6, 7? What? Like, what is the number where you feel like, okay, we've lost it and we need to make a change?
What Todd said, I would largely agree with. I would probably feel better about the situation if I saw some progress on offense and it looked like Mac Jones took a step forward and solidified that grip. And okay, we're not having any off-season talk. Who's the quarterback next year?
Malik Cunningham, get out of here.
That would make me feel better about the situation. But I don't think you should go into a season ever in that league. Anybody, let's not be concerned with wins and losses. Let's just let's try to show some progress, and
right,
especially 4 years post Brady. Like this is not like a new rebuild. This is not a new team.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I think I think everyone was okay with the pass in 2020 for a variety of reasons.
Of course.
For a variety of reasons. And then in 2021, you drafted a quarterback, you got back to the playoffs. It felt like, all right, it's maybe the start of something.
Yeah.
I think last year though is
but if
the backward
if we
step
can come out of this season knowing that Mac's the guy, then good things would have happened.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
All right, and that'd be good. If we go into 24th knowing who our quarterback is.
Yeah.
Some
new faces emerge.
Yeah.
Not just him, but who's he throwing the ball to? Who are making the plays for him?
Like
Those
I said,
kind of things.
if we know that going out of the season, good things would have had to happen. Meaning he did throw and guys caught it.
Yeah.
They scored touchdowns.
He can just hand it off to Ramondre.
Right.
5,000 times.
And we talk a lot about, with stuff that other people are writing. Todd said, about people predicting records and whatnot. I don't know if you guys caught a story that Greg Bedard had this week. It was sort of projecting the possibilities of offensive personnel being replaced. Like David Andrews was a guy he thought with Jake Andrews, what are the chances that they were thinking, 31, he's missed some time, maybe
time to put somebody
maybe
behind
earlier
him.
than later, right? What are the chances he could be replaced as the center this year? I thought it was interesting that he had Mac Jones was the last one he wrote about, and he said, I want to say there was 25% chance or a 20% chance for Zappe to overtake him coming out of camp. And he said that he doesn't think it's close. He thinks Mac Jones is far and away, so he kind of agrees with us on the evaluation, and that it will show in training camp. But he put it at 40% chance of Jones being replaced during the season.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys read this at all?
No, I didn't read this.
I'm the only one that reads clips.
I usually do read him.
Replaced by
I just missed
Zappe?
this one.
Because of the schedule and the sort of likelihood that they get off to a slow start, and for whatever reason they need a spark, and then it kind of coincides with a little bit of a softening, and then Zappe takes it. It was almost like last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like where Zappe gets in there, after opening with,
Eagles,
after opening
Jets,
with my,
Dolphins.
but look at even last year. It's like Miami and Baltimore. Miami, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and then Zappe goes in and it's Detroit, Cleveland. And Detroit was a mess at the time. I mean, they obviously turned their season around, but Detroit was not good early in the season, and then Cleveland was not good at any point in the season, and that's the games that Zappe got to play. So they were sort of, I think Greg was sort of looking at that. It was like, could that happen again? And all of a sudden, Zappe takes over, has some success maybe against a Washington or an Indy in Germany.
The only way that happens if it's like so putrid or injury. Otherwise, it's Matt.
Yeah, or Matt.
Well, he put it
goes
at 40.
off.
He put it at 40%.
Yeah,
that's why I brought it up. I thought that was high. I thought that was a high percentage.
I think it's real high too.
I mean, I agree with the general premise of it, that I don't think that Bailey Zappe has a real chance to win the quarterback job out of training camp. But I also think that that's just, it's unfair in a way, but it's also just this is how the schedule's always going to be. It's like they're always going to be tough teams, and either you roll with Mac Jones and he ride or die, they win or lose, or what good is it going to do? All right, well, Matt couldn't beat the good team, so let's go to Zappe now, and we'll just kind of like wave the white flag a little bit. Like, I don't know. I don't disagree with what he's saying, but I also just think like,
clickbait.
What difference is it going to be if you go to Zappe? What difference does that make?
If it was clickbait, I don't think it would have been the last two paragraphs of his story and not have anything to do with the headline. It's just like he just went down all the offensive personnel. Yeah. Like he talked about the receivers exactly the way we did. Bourne, and to a lesser extent Parker. Like if you get some kids that come in and show up, that's not. We had a whole conversation about it probably last week. So that's what he was writing about, is all the offensive personnel. He went into great detail about the tackles, as only Greg can. Greg and Evan can.
Yeah. They didn't know the Rubik's Cube bit yet, too.
He didn't even know that.
That just got me.
Don't even look at him, Deuce. Don't even look. Don't even look at it. Just
I can actually do a pass set while doing a Rubik's Cube behind my back.
Well, it's just to have an offensive lineman. In all seriousness, it has a little bit of personality.
Oh, I love it.
Like most of the time you talk to those guys, and I'm not to pick Riley Reef, but most of them sound like Riley Reef, right? Like I just come to work, I do my job, and then I go home. Like that's like, but then you get Calvin Anderson in there, and he's got some pizzazz, and you're like, okay,
yeah,
this guy I could talk to. Like if this guy starts this year, I could actually have
you have me at starter
conversation.
Jacket. I was in.
But
starter jacket.
I feel like we talked about the likelihood of Matt getting replaced in season being higher than him getting replaced for week one, loses the job to Zappe in camp. I think that's definitely in play if it starts poorly for 4 to 6 weeks. But I think to Todd's call, I just looked up Justin Herbert's rookie season, where they did not win very many games, but he threw 31 touchdowns to 10 interceptions and over 4,200 yards. If Mac had a year like that, where they go, I think Herbert went 6-8 in the games that he started, or something like that, or won 6 games. If they win 6 or 7 games, but Mac has this great stat line, are we really optimistic? Like, I don't know. I think some of us will be.
Well,
or some
are they
people will
losing
be.
games 34-31? Yeah, I'm a little bit optimistic. Maybe now we got to tweak our defense.
I just wonder how much of it too is how Mac deals with it, and if it's necessarily a direct reflection of his performance, or just we have to reset this person and kind of send a message, like if it's going to be that kind of thing, not as cut and dry as you're not playing good, you're going to be benched. Like it's going to be way more complicated than that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Alex in Englewood, New Jersey, on this.
I'm really curious about his level of confidence. That you don't think that there's a chance?
What?
That he doesn't play well and they replace him?
Like I said, it would have to be really putrid.
Like last year.
Well, but last year,
I think if you repeat,
I know,
but
but
the
last
first
year,
half of last year, I think he's getting replaced.
I know, but if he had not had the injury, I don't think he would have ever been replaced.
Oh, I do. If he kept playing the way he played in the first 3 games, I think he was going to get replaced.
I don't think so.
It's tough. It's a tough one
because remember when he got injured, that was like his best game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and it still involved 3 interceptions.
I know.
That's
but
the point.
He was playing better. I don't think if he had that injury, we would have been talking about Bailey Zappi last year.
I don't know. I don't know if there was an offense to be gotten last year. So I don't, I don't even know if he could.
I agree with that, but I don't think Bill does.
Make it happen.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I think let's see how close they are in camp. So anyway, Alex in Englewood, New Jersey, on a slow football day, I want to know who would be on your top 5 greatest Boston athletes. These are people you have watched across all teams that you believe help carry the legacy that is Boston sports in their dominance. Very interested to see who you all choose, and looking forward to Evan scoffing at everyone's list and thinking his is the best.
That's Eric.
Eric?
I know.
It's valid.
Well, Matt Lacoste, of course.
Are we talking about all time?
I guess so.
And did you have to see him play too? Because that seemed like that might have been part of the part of the equation.
Because like you could say Ted Williams, but none of us saw him play.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Was it top 5, or are we doing Mount Rushmore?
I'm gonna do just ones I've seen. I'm Tom Brady.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that? Ray Bork. Ray Bork's on there for me. For me.
Ray Bork.
For me.
It's his list. Who had
playing the role of Evan? What?
Who had Fred scoffing at someone's list?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I would have said Bobby Orr, but I never saw him play. So I got to stick to guys.
I saw a little bit, so I can say Bobby Orr. Yeah. I would say Brady, Bird.
Yeah, I saw Bird play. Bird.
Yeah.
Like once, maybe.
Your lack of basketball knowledge astounds
I actually
me.
was a little bit of a basketball fan in the 80s, though, when they,
when they were good.
When they were, they're not good now?
I mean.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they're good now. He doesn't care.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking Celtics earlier, which I was upset about because I didn't get to
I know, we should
complain about the Celtics.
So then you heard, I told Alex, I sitting there watching the first half last night, and I was all prepared. I was like, wow, he finally did it. He stayed out of the way. He did what he could do, and look at how well Marcus Smart is playing. And then 10-minute stretch of the third quarter happened, and I said, I got to take everything back. I forgot.
Yeah, but of course, if you tell green teamers that, is because in the third quarter they sagged off of him to defend the passing lanes because he was passing so well, so he had no choice but to chuck up a bunch of threes. Like there's no
necessarily threes.
What else was he going to do? I mean,
so if everyone's in the lane, let someone else shoot the three.
Yeah, they just taking what the defense is giving him. Fred, that's what he's doing.
David Ortiz, I put him on.
I would, he should be up there.
I would put Pedro.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
I mean, Clemens, but they never won a championship with him.
I would put Clemens ahead of Ortiz too, even though Ortiz won a lot of titles. But I would put Pedro above all of them.
Why are you not a David Ortiz?
I love David Ortiz,
no,
but I'm
just
ranking
pitcher.
him.
Yeah.
No, I'm just talking about individual great. Like I think Manny was better than Ortiz, but Ortiz had the moments.
Yeah,
like
that to me I guess is more of a casual fan. Like that's what you remember is like God, bases loaded, top of the 10th or bottom of the 10th. He's the one hitting.
Usually because Manny doubled ahead of him.
No, I mean Bobby Orr he's got to be up there.
Oh my God, that's.
I could probably put Bobby Orr. I didn't really see. By the time I got to see him play, he was
just
not.
Go watch the highlights.
No,
on
I
YouTube.
obviously I know all about it, but I could do that with Ted Williams too.
I know.
I'm trying to just do players that I actually watched play. And
but Bobby
understood what they were doing.
Orr transcended the
Changed the
position.
game.
He changed the game. He
Changed
built
the
hockey
geometry.
rinks. You know, like
Oh, yeah.
Hockey rinks were built because of Bobby Orr.
Yeah, I mean all that's true. I just didn't really get to see him do it.
Yeah.
So
That's how it was in LA with Gretzky too. There was just you could like every hockey rink you go to around LA, there's some kind of impact from Wayne Gretzky. Like if there's a Wayne Gretzky on the front of the place.
We're not gonna compare L.A.
You notice-
hockey.
oh,
to
no,
but
Bobby Orr
I
in
know
Boston.
the phenomenon that you're
it's-
talking about. I totally get.
One player comes and
He
just-
made it cool for people in LA even to think about hockey.
I wonder if was Bobby Orr the MDC rinks that litter our state
Yes.
that I've played
Yes.
in
Yes.
many.
That
They're
was
all the
Bobby-
same.
They were all built in the early to mid 70s.
Yeah. It's like you never know which one you're in. They're all exactly
They're all the same. With that like brownish cinder block sides with like the brown like metal. You know,
I love
they're all
them.
built. The
I
same.
love every one of them.
Yeah, because
home to me.
even our rink in Everett, we had an MDC rink in Everett. It was outdoor. It was an outdoor rink.
Yeah.
Like so, they had no sides. They obviously had a roof.
Yep.
And then they redid the whole thing. Like it's right around that
It's
time.
real hockey.
I was in basketball courts. Not
Everyone was dunking. How about your? What is your list?
Yeah. What do you have, Evan?
I mean, I'm pretty young, so I don't really have like. I would say Tom Brady, obviously. If I had to say like just like dominant athletes, like I'd probably put Gronk.
Nancy Kerrigan,
of course. No, I'd probably put Gronk on my list just in terms of pure dominance.
I gave Gronk some thought
at
in
his
my head.
sport. You know, the Bruins and the Red Sox, I'd go Pedro or Ortiz also. The Bruins and the Celtics, I don't know if they've, in my lifetime, had a truly...
Patrice Bergeron?
A truly, like, legendary Larry Bird, Bobby Orr.
I don't think they have.
No, I mean...
Cam Neely could have been, but he got hurt.
I was pretty young for Cam Neely.
Yeah.
But when... I will say, just as a Celtics fan growing up, a diehard Celtics fan still, when Kevin Garnett came here, it was a short period of time that he was here, but he changed the entire culture of the Celtics in 2008. I mean, he came in and it was a completely different vibe around the team.
By the way, Kevin Garnett, really good actor. Like on the commercials, he sells it. He's really
I thought you
good.
were talking about Uncut Jam.
No, he's a good actor. He really is.
I look at the Celtics now, and I look at a guy like Jason Tatum.
Uncut Jams.
Just kind of starving for like that Kevin Garnett big brother that's just going to be like
and tell him,
no.
Yeah.
Like today we're not doing this. Like we're not going to give up 46 points in a third quarter in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like this isn't happening.
Billy McInnes.
Yeah, and I think that Al Horford tries to play that role for him now, but I don't know if Al Horford has the cachet that KG had for Paul Pierce. But Paul Pierce became a totally different player when Kevin Garnett got here, and I feel like the Celtics team needs that a little bit.
I remember, there was that game where Cedric Maxwell said, "Hey, everybody, get on my shoulders," and he
that game,
it's
Game 7 of the '84 finals.
Well, and he played great. I don't think Al Horford can do that. You know what I mean?
Oh God, no.
Yeah,
Maxwell was a vastly superior player to Al Horford.
Plus, like Garnett and Willie, so scary. Like they're just intimidating kind of presence.
Yeah, I like Brady, Bird, Pedro. To me, is a solid 3. But I would have Gronk would get a lot of consideration for me to be a 4th.
Yeah, I mean my favorite Patriot, besides Brady, was Randy Moss, but it was so short that I don't know if I would necessarily put him on a Mount Rushmore of Boston athletes, but Moss was up there as well in terms of just pure.
Andy,
I could put Berger on there, but that would just be a sentimental favorite. He's not at that talent level of those other guys.
Andy in Cleveland, boy, it's going to be 7-10 this year. That's going to be tough. Like you guys said, hopefully that at least includes some come from behind scoring 30 points on offense a few times and positive signs for Mac. I'm just disappointed that this is how the Belichick era is going down, and he'll always be remembered without Brady win percentage. When Brady left and won a Super Bowl, I honestly had hoped Bill would get one or two inside of 3 years because I always been on the side of it's both of them. on the was it Bill or Tom debate.
You're on the right side then.
At least we'll always have the world's longest running podcast. Appreciate your coverage.
Yeah. I mean, it's always going to be because of both of them.
Yeah.
Is it weird that I was surprised last night that Bill got like a really big round of applause?
Oh, no. The Celtics crowd loves Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, always does.
We get
Just
so
think
in our...
about who those Celtics fans are. I mean, that's by far and away the most honkish of the four sports.
Yeah.
Well, they're the number 1 rated fan base in the NBA.
That does not
Who
surprise.
rated them?
That does not surprise
The Players
me at all.
Association.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that does not surprise me at all. That
job.
is like
Yeah.
1,000%. You're either with us or you're against
Yeah.
us. Like that is
Good job, Kenny.
Yeah, that
All
crowd is always awesome.
Those are your people, though. You
Those
grew
are
up
my
with those
people.
people,
and yet
right?
somehow they
Yeah.
still get called out by Jaylen Brown. I don't know.
Jaylen
'Cause
Brown.
I agree with everything Evan just said.
Jaylen
about
Brown
the
has got a
Celtics.
complicated relationship with Celtics fans, so just say that.
I know what that was.
Chris in Colfax, California. I'm one that believes the addition of Billy O will make a massive difference on the offense. I think the weapons are actually solid. The way I look, going from Matt Patricia to Billy O is like giving decent ingredients to a McDonald's cook versus giving the same ingredients to Gordon Ramsay. If Matt can be even a decent quarterback, our offense should be good enough to contend for a playoff win. Second, I really wish the Patriots would stop with the rookies earn numbers nonsense. I want to get a Gonzalez number 0 jersey, but I have a feeling some Jag special teamer will get the number because he can't take it yet.
Nah. Just wait. He'll have a 50 jersey probably.
Why do you
that?
want
That won't be the reason, because he won't be allowed. Someone else might want 0 instead of him, like Jack Jones.
Yeah, Jack Jones, yeah.
Who has been on Twitter saying that. But the rookies can get their numbers once like training camp is over.
Yeah, once for the first preseason game they'll have them.
Yeah.
But they'll wear 50 through 60, whatever.
Right.
Is anybody in 24 right now?
No. Well, Josh Bledsoe, I think. Too much. I'd love to see him in 0. That'd be fun.
No, put him in 24.
Now that could happen too, because maybe Jack Jones, has got to start at square one after being suspended last year.
Let's focus.
James Pettigrew, the most interesting Patriots fan in the world, says, Fred, we have a phrase in the Army, hope is not a course of action. Well, I'm not the one
we're
that
a podcast, so we don't.
Yeah, I'm just watching.
I'm not
we're
making.
just
running the world's original podcast. We're not worried about saving a nation.
Yeah. And also he writes in, who is the best sports person you guys have ever faced? When I lived in New Hampshire, I became friends with the Dartmouth squash coach, a German who was ranked 5th in the world a few years earlier. I played a few games against him, and I didn't even get close to winning a single point.
Oh. Does Hal Gill count?
You should.
Hal Gill counts?
I got a bunch of
You
hockey
should have a
players.
lot.
I got a lot of hockey players that. I played with Tom Pody, who went on to, but he was a defenseman. I'm trying to think of just like a really slick offensive player.
Like who made you
against.
look bad? Yeah.
No. I mean, plenty of people, but nobody famous. I don't think.
I faced a lot of former Major League Baseball players. The best one was probably Jeff Bagwell. And I got him to hit a ball about 8,000 miles in the air, popped up to second base.
Oh, yeah.
Just missed it.
There's got to be one.
But when we played Miami, like Charles Johnson, Orlando Palmeiro, FP Santangelo, they had like 5 or 6, Alex Fernandez. They had a lot of guys that like 4 years later were in Major League Baseball. Not surprising, we lost 17-0 and 25-1.
Pitching. Pitching.
Yeah.
You guys don't know any of them. Lacrosse players, and stuff like
Paul
that.
Rabel, no.
I had Paul Rabel, no, thank God, no. I played against a lot of lacrosse players that have like Massachusetts state records and stuff like that. So some of those guys definitely made me look like I had cinder blocks.
Yeah.
But
I played against a tennis player who was like ranked 300 in the world, and it was like I couldn't even touch his serve.
300.
Yeah.
And right, just he did not.
How did that happen?
I was he was a Dunlop rep, and so I was running this tennis program, and he came down like with rackets to like sell, but he was also a player, so he 300, you're not making a lot of money, so you have to have a side job. So he was worked with Dunlop, and we played, and like it was like he had this kick serve that would just go over my head,
Those crazy tennis players, especially on the Cape, when we're in some of those guys, like the pros.
Yeah.
That's what Fred did to Andy.
Really? Just had no chance. I wish there was video
Andy
of this.
couldn't touch his serve.
Yeah. Not these days.
Well, maybe in pickleball.
Pickleball.
I did the announcement.
Abomination.
One of these days we're going to get Fred into pickleball.
No.
You don't have to run.
David writes in,
it's tennis without running.
Question for Evan. He says, even as a Bruins hater, I have to ask, who told Evan that Pastrnak isn't a goal scorer? Huh? I'm still not over that comment, especially considering hockey's my favorite sport. Everyone recognizes Pasta as an excellent player, and I'm not sure who was saying he's not.
Not an excellent
I
player,
stand with
an
Paul.
excellent goal scorer.
I think he's got this backwards.
This was about goal scoring.
I think he's got this backwards. I was making fun of Paul's shows.
Correct,
first.
and that's what he's asking you. Who said that he's not a goal scorer?
Your shows.
And
I was being sarcastic when I was saying all these things.
And having heard the next 3 weeks, they continue to rip the crap out of Pastrnak, and no one says that he can't score goals. I've heard, I specifically wanted to listen because I'm like, what did I miss? How did I miss the nuance?
They say he disappears in the playoffs, which is inaccurate.
Okay.
He's a point a game guy in the playoffs.
He was a net drag in the playoffs. He did not play well. I don't care how many
his plus minus?
Nobody played well.
I don't care. I don't care how he.
What was his Corsi?
Oh God!
There were like 2 or 3 guys on the Bruins that played well in that series,
and some of them were going the wrong way in overtime, letting the puck go off the back of their skate to cost you a game. Like there's a difference between not playing well and doing things that are directly responsible for you losing. Like Bergeron was on the ice for the last goal.
Don't know.
He didn't turn the puck over and give it to someone in the slot to win the game. There's a difference.
I'm not sure how I got labeled as the one that doesn't like Pastrnak. I think that emailer got this argument totally backwards.
That's not what the emailer said. He said, where did you ever hear that he couldn't score goals?
I didn't say.
He's asking you to show your work.
That comment was clearly sarcastic.
No, he's not.
I was exaggerating the point.
Emailer, I understood what you were saying.
I did not. Thanks for the email, though.
He wasn't suggesting that you said he couldn't score goals. He was suggesting no one has ever said that.
Certain person said things.
And it looks like, according to Mike Reese, the preseason schedule has been finalized.
Completed? Actually, according to us.
According to us, we announced that. All right.
Yeah.
For our listeners, Thursday, August 10th versus the Texans, 7 p.m. Then Saturday, August 19th at Packers, 8 p.m. Friday, the 25th, we knew that one, 8:15.
It just gets worse and
Thursday,
worse
Saturday,
every time
Friday.
they talk about it.
I'm in trouble.
Why?
We have tickets to Zach Brown Band on the 19th.
Oh, you can't miss that.
So
it's
is it in Green Bay?
It's no police at Fenway when we're trying to put it in
not in Green
out.
Bay, and he's doing one show. Not Taylor Swift. He's not going to be there for 3 straight days.
Story, Hansel.
Deuce, you're going to Green Bay, I guess, right?
Well, I'll be there already, so. So maybe
we got to get him back.
You have to stay for the game.
Is Zach Brown here?
At Fenway.
I could be talked into staying.
And we could definitely do that if you really wanted to. We could talk about it off air.
Yeah, we could figure that out.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just the preseason.
Yeah. I mean, it's his job, so I think he needs to be there. Okay.
You know me. I'll be in Green Bay. Thanks for the offers.
Okay. You want to go? I'm sitting there. I'm like,
you have to speak, Evan. Like he does this whole thing where he's like, "Oh, I'm in so much trouble," and he's like, "I love my job so much."
I thought you really okay.
Like
I
Evan,
really.
what would you rather do? Go to a Zach Brown concert or go see the Patriots playing the Packers in the preseason? Preseason, of course.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Lambeau?
Yeah, last year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. First time last year, though.
Then you should go to the Zach Brown concert.
Kieran writes in, just curious, what are your thoughts on trading for Mike Evans? Could we get him for a second or third? Parker and Bourne, he would be an upgrade over Parker and would something space for our late round picks. Just wanted to throw a new name in the ring. Why, is he available or?
I don't know. There's some going on with
but I'm not
Devin
interested
White.
in Mike Evans. I could stand on an island on that. That's okay.
I guess I don't know. Maybe if I'm just sick of it, but I just want to see what they got now with what they got, and let's get those guys.
I just
out
don't
there
think he fits what they do.
No.
Okay.
That's what we tried to do last year. Let's just throw bombs down the sideline up for grabs. Like, yeah, he'll catch more of them probably than Parker would, but
yeah,
I'd like to see him go in a different direction.
It seems, this is Rick and Haverhill, it seems to me that the AFC East is going to mirror the American League East in baseball. Every team is good, but there's a chance that the 2 Boston teams may wind up in last place. Seriously, in your opinion, what individual group needs to make the biggest difference for the Patriots to make the playoffs?
Quarterback.
Yeah.
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 And that's what it is.
That's what it is.
You can't say the quarterback is the most important position in the field and not say that that's going to make the most difference.
He's got to pick up this new offense. He's got to just look like, I'd love to see him a week from today, and he just looks comfortable, and it just seems like, all right, he's going through reads. You get the balls coming out quick. Just does he look comfortable and on board? And if he can carry that into camp and into the season.
Jonah says, I'm very enthusiastic about our chances of having a much improved offense this year with Bill O'Brien. I think our wide receiving core is solid enough. However, I am having a hard time thinking of any young quarterback in recent history to become a successful one without a WR1 already being on the roster or the team adding prior to their breakout season. Example, Josh Allen and Diggs, Hurts, and he goes down the list. Lamar's the only exception I can think of. However, he's uniquely gifted. This isn't to say we can't judge Mac without one, but it would be interesting to see him with one.
What year did the Bills get?
Year 3.
Diggs, yeah, year 3. Yep. And, to be fair,
it's a little...
Josh Allen was iffy up until that point. He was like...
His second season was pretty good.
Numbers-wise.
Thank you, Evan.
It's his second season... He had solidified himself in year 2 as like, I'm a guy, and then obviously Diggs took him to the next level. I think that a guy like Jalen Hurts was somebody that was maybe a little bit more wishy-washy. I remember being out there at joint practices in Philly, and they weren't totally sure that Jalen Hurts was going to be.
They weren't totally sure heading into last year.
Yeah. So I think A.J. Brown, he took off with Jalen Hurts. I'm with Paul on this one. I think Allen was already on an upward ascension, and then he got Diggs, and that.
And I don't like, and we always say there's plenty of ways to skin a cat, but I think like these examples are just, hey, we know we've got the guy at quarterback. It's going to be worth our investment to go out and get one of these top ranked receivers. Of course, you have. I mean, what's the kid in? Like, what's Herbert? You kind of had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams waiting there. Are either one of those guys that won? Not really, but it was enough for him to. Like what you said, the stats. I mean, 30-plus touchdowns.
And I do think, listen, and I'm just looking from year 2 to year 3. It was 20 touchdowns, 9 picks in his second year, and it went to 37-10. There's no denying the impact that those guys have. So I'm not dismissing, the A.J. Browns and the Stephon Diggs and the Tyreek Hills. I think in Allen's case in particular, I think people ignore the fact that he came in a raw rookie, showed some promise, improved in year 2, and was on an upward trajectory when they got Stephon Diggs. I'm not telling you that would have been exactly the same had they not gotten Diggs, but I think that he would be their quarterback hands down with it going to the play. They went to the playoffs anyway.
Yeah, they should have won that playoff game.
Now maybe they're a Super Bowl contender now because they went out and got the guy.
Yeah,
but they were good even with Josh Allen sort of being
and that's not to let the Patriots off the hook for not getting the guy either, because I still think the Tua and Jalen Hurts model of Tyreek Hill coming in and making Tua what he is that's still a viable strategy either way. Either it makes the quarterback Josh Allen and he goes from good to elite, or it makes a average quarterback into an above average quarterback because he's got these guys that he's throwing to. So either way you slice it, getting the number one guy is something that they didn't do this offseason that they still need to do, unless you project that Tyquan Thornton is going to come out of nowhere and be that guy for Mac moving forward.
But do you think they totally disagree with us? I
Yes.
just want, they're like, no, we don't.
I think certain, I think certain people in the building do and certain people don't. I really do think that there's a little bit of a general divide in this. I know that there is people in the building that believe in the number one receiver. I think specifically believe in maximizing a rookie contract at the quarterback position, and knowing that if you are going to bring Mac into his second contract, it's going to cost the team $30+ million a year if he's serviceable as a starter, like Daniel Jones level. And that's going to be a part of that timeline. You missed it. You missed the window to then get that guy in there. So they have one more year, really, because his fifth-year option is going to be pricey. So
that's why I just feel
he has one more year.
They didn't do it. You can talk about wanting to maximize a rookie contract, but this is Mac year 3 now. And, so at best, you're going to get 2 years.
I feel like the guy that's building
you're
the
going to
team,
pay him more.
The guy that's building the team thinks that they are maximizing it because they have all this depth, right? They have all these guys, they have all these bodies everywhere and he feels like that middle class that we used to hear so much about. But in terms of adding that elite top end talent, we talk about the draft like that. They have to do it through the draft because they're not going to spend for it.
Or they have to find a distressed asset that they can get for a favorable deal, like like a Moss or somebody who
like a Keishon Booty.
I hope so.
Ray writes in Pennsylvania, the third band that played with the Rolling Stones and Van Halen at the Tangerine Bowl was the Henry Paul Band. One of their most popular songs is Grey Ghost, which is dedicated to Leonard Skinner's Ronnie Van Zant. I don't remember that, but I'll take his word for it.
It's the opening.
Yeah. I thought it was a more famous band, but he looked it up.
Never
He's
heard
probably
that one.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. I just remember it was a great concert.
I bet. David Lee Roth, like prime, right?
Oh,
like,
God, yeah.
I mean, this is like Panama and
it was great.
Van Halen.
I'm just kidding.
I think it would have been before that, right?
What?
When you saw Van Halen, it was probably before Panama and all that.
I don't remember. Yeah, I just
Oh,
know
it's in a haze.
I just know. I just know it was the start.
All I know.
It was definitely the Start Me Up tour for the Stones. I have no doubt about that.
I know that song.
Yeah,
that was like 81.
It might have been 81. That might have been the year. Yeah,
I think that would be before Panama.
Yeah, so I think
84 was 1984.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Wait, what if we?
David writes in New Hampshire, just wondering if there are any thoughts on moving Cole Strange to tackle.
No.
I haven't heard of any.
This is in Malik Cunningham territory for me.
Yeah. What?
Just like, maybe we turn this guy into a receiver and then he's a star. Like, no, he's a guard. Stop it.
I think he's a guard.
I'm not picking on the emailer. I'm just this theory has been floated. This is not a new
really?
a new Patriots.
Where are
theory.
these things floated in the
Twitter?
The blog is
Reddit.
Because
Reddit.
And this is snarky, Paul.
Hello.
But like in general, whenever a guy doesn't immediately like hit a home run, it's because he's in the wrong spot. It's not because maybe he's not that good. It's
Isaiah
because
Wynn.
we need to play him somewhere else.
Yeah.
Pro Bowl guard.
It's like
N'Keal Harry is a bust of a wide receiver. 3 years of let's move him to tight end.
If you can be a good tackle, you can be a good guard for the most part. It's like cornerback safety. Like safeties, cornerbacks can play safety, but if you're not a good corner, you're not going to move from safety to corner.
Safety's where corners go to die, right?
Right. Question for Evan and Mike. For each of the following, if the two of you had a head-to-head, who would win? A wrap-off.
Wrap-off.
The two of you. I say Evan would win.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Mike's
Evan,
more-
actually, I will give Evan that one because Evan likes
He's
rap.
younger.
I
He knows a lot
might
of
be.
rap.
I might have better
Yeah.
flow than Mike,
Yeah.
but he's got the creative gene that I don't have. So
How
I don't know.
about a Star Wars off?
Probably Mike.
Yeah, I'm older.
Yeah, he lived it.
And I've watched a lot of stupid cartoon stuff with my kids. So.
How about rock, paper, scissors?
Oh, that's it's probably me because Evan would be better with more scheme and like
Yeah.
a
I have
simple
a
straight up
strategy.
game.
I come in with a game plan.
How about thumb wrestling?
I don't know. How are your thumbs? Let's see those thumbs.
I got nice thumbs.
Do either of you play poker?
I have played poker.
I mean, I've played poker.
But
I
I'm
wouldn't
not
say.
allowed to.
I wouldn't say I play poker.
Okay, so neither of you claim to be a good poker player?
No.
How about a foot race?
Like running?
I think Deuce on that one.
Yeah, Deuce definitely.
Okay.
Not even close.
Are you fast?
No.
No, but I am very, very slow.
How about who can
that we
take the
should all
hardest
race.
shoulder punch?
Shoulder punch? I don't know.
This is a weird question.
Yeah, I never.
Cameras are running. We could do that one right now.
I never thought of that.
How about just a dance off?
A dance off. I
Deuce,
go with me.
Deuce would win the day.
Yeah.
Do this. He's very rhythmic.
And I'm not going to do the final one.
Oh.
Because it's something off, but I can't say it.
Oh. I would just say that because Alex Barth
Took a
is
turn.
standing next to us. There was a video of Evan and Alex. What was it, Evan? Like
The Super Bowl experience.
Super Bowl experience
Yeah,
where
yeah.
Evan and Alex had like a foot race.
I was in jeans. I didn't stretch. No, I'm just kidding.
I got that.
I think I replied on Twitter.
I choose not to run.
All I could reply was Jesus, guys.
I am one of the slowest people you've ever met.
Paul, were
I'm
you
up
here
there.
for the Brian Morey, Dave Crizzoli sprint? It was like 3 a.m. after a game.
I believe that was another one I did play-by-play on.
Okay, yeah, that was fun.
3-cone drill. That's my jam.
All right.
Straight sprint.
Where's that
no
old
way.
camera that Dave Cazzoli said that we had for side by side, like XLR or something
Something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
XLR.
It was white. Yeah.
Yeah,
The XLR.
the red, yeah.
Yeah. Good, Paul.
Yeah,
Good.
I actually had the camera on for that and was doing play-by-play.
I think Rizzoli pulled his hamstring.
I believe it.
Neither one of them was very fast.
How mad was Maury? He must have just been
Oh,
fired
you
up
know
about
how
something.
super serious.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know. He must have
they
been
were
like,
both really
yeah.
competitive. All right, that's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. Stay tuned for Catch 22, a special Taylor Swift edition with Evan and Alex Barth. So they're going to talk about Taylor Swift for 2 hours.
Favorite Taylor Swift.
I'm only kidding. But they'll be up next. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.
Thank you.